Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's been a while since I've been able to film on here. Last month was very hectic. I had little to no time to actually sit down and edit a video, so I was on Instagram TV a lot. But I'm trying to bring it back to YouTube now, bring back some of my videos on here. So we're starting back in January with my Mental Health Mondays videos on YouTube now. So I wanted to go ahead and introduce the topic that I thought of for today. So on Instagram, I usually do a poll. I ask everybody what video they would like out of two different choices. And the one that won today is the Millennial Mental Health Crisis, which is the most interesting topic and one of the ones that I feel like I don't see a lot of or is not taken as seriously. So basically this topic is about how millennials are experiencing the most stress, most debt, most frustration, loneliness, despair, anxiety, all of those things out of any other generation. And it's getting really bad. So I was looking at research and things. Of course, I always look up mental health things, but I was really looking into it, kind of going into 2020, kind of seeing what the mental health trends are. I always do research and try and find out new things. And when I looked up this topic, I was in shock. So I wanted to kind of share it with you guys, an article that I feel really broke down everything that I personally believe about the mental health crisis for millennials as well, and then kind of talk about some ways that you can combat it, deal with it if you've got a friend or a family going through it. You can share this video with them, but that's kind of the basis of what today's video is going to be. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the article that I found the most helpful is an article by Business Insider, and it was made in December, and it kind of talks about the state of millennials' mental health entering the 2020s. And it says that millennials suffer from burnout, depression, and loneliness. And it kind of goes into reasons as to why. Of course, we are the generation that is, destigmatizing mental health and destigmatizing therapy as well. So it's really important to talk about these things. But while we're trying to make them more a normal thing, we're also suffering with them the most. So it's people who are in their 20s, their late 20s, early 30s. Millennials doesn't mean somebody who's 19. That's literally a whole nother generation. It's people who are kind of growing up, going through college, maybe their final years, entering adulthood, they're young adults, maybe going from their 20s to their 30s, kind of figuring themselves out. And I wouldn't necessarily say it's a life crisis, kind of a quarter life crisis, but it's literally a feeling of where do I go next? What's life looking like for me? Feeling alone, like I said, feeling depressed, those kind of things. So I'm going to break down some of the topics on here that it said. And it actually says the ages on here for millennials would be age 23 to 38. So it's a very large age gap right there, and it covers a lot of different people. So, if you feel millennials is only 19-year-olds, that's not the case at all. So if you're in that age gap, this probably applies to you or to somebody that you know. Okay, so the first little bullet point that this article talks about is how depression is on the rise. This article says that from the ages of 21 to 36, there's been a 47% increase in depression, which of course is not just feeling kind of sad or, kind of sad but getting through your day. It's when you're feeling a serious, intense depression that you can't get out of. And a lot of people have not been seeking therapy because it hasn't been normalized for them, or because they can't afford it, which is another reason why therapy in general should be affordable for all Americans, whether that's through your insurance, which some people don't have, whether that's through a EAP from your work, or just from easily accessible therapy. There's different ways that you can get therapy these days. Online therapy has been more popular. There's online apps called BetterHelp. There's one called Lyra, I think it's Lyra. And then another one called Talkspace. And you can talk to a therapist, literally a licensed professional counselor just like me. I'm not on there yet, but I plan on it. But you can get on there and talk to a counselor, whether that's online. You can do a video chat. You can do a text to talk. You can do a chat on your computer, something for you to talk to somebody. So depression's on the rise, and this article thinks that it's because of the stigmatization of depression and mental health in general, and because of affordable costs for therapy, which I think is definitely important as well. And I think that that's a major cause among people our age. So just kind of throwing some resources out there. So the next part of the millennial mental health crisis that is on the rise is drugs, alcohol, and suicide rate. So these are some serious topics right here. So I'll break them down really quickly. Between the ages of 23 and 38, of course, are millennials. And the drug and alcohol use has skyrocketed. Of course, it's been an epidemic for a really long time, but the rise of use between millennials has been substantially greater than it has in other years. And what's even more concerning is the mortality rate of it. Whether somebody's trying to escape, maybe they're depressed, they don't like their situation in life, abuse, trauma, something like that. So they're using drugs and alcohol to escape or using it recreationally. Whatever it is, the mortality rate has gone up, and that is very scary. Like I said, it's been an epidemic for quite some time, drugs and alcohol use, but it's growing even more amongst millennials. I feel like, I don't want to say that drugs and alcohol use is normalized, but I will say that you see it a lot more like in music, in movies, social media. It's everywhere. It's in a lot of people's songs. They talk about a lot of different drugs and different things like that. And it kind of has become normalized, you know, and it's a scary thing because a lot of people deal with depression, like I said, things that they want to escape from, so they use drugs or they use them recreationally or socially. So listening to this different music and things like that kind of makes it feel normalized. But also on the other hand, somebody who does use them and deals with, you know, those things that cause them to feel upset, listening to those songs could also help them to get through it. But in the end, drugs and alcohol are not the healthiest choice for you when you're dealing with something as emotionally difficult as like trauma or a tough situation that you're going through. And if you are, you know, I definitely encourage you to reach out and get help, because addiction really is something that is really plaguing the millennials. And you know, we want to see you live a long time. So if you know anybody who's going through it, or if you're going through it, definitely know that you're not alone. Like I said, it's on the rise, and definitely get help whenever you are ready to do it. Another thing is suicide rate. That has skyrocketed out of control, and the highest rate that is skyrocketed for is Black youths. I feel like, of course, racism is still alive. It hasn't gone anywhere. If anything, we're more aware of it, trying to be a more radical generation, more radical, democratic kind of generation. But at the same time, growing up as a Black youth and understanding that you are living in a system that's kind of pretty much made to suppress you, fight against you, keep you down, it's really hard to have that confidence and go after your dreams sometimes, have that self-efficacy to believe that you are better than your circumstances, better than your environment, better than what you've been through, better than what you're experiencing, which may be a lot of racism at times, a lot of oppression at times. You can feel hopeless as a Black youth. You can feel helpless. You can feel like, you know, what's the point of life if, you know, when I get older, nothing's going to work out. And then it causes you to kind of question the meaning of life. So for that topic in general, I would say that Black families need to destigmatize mental health and, you know, stop trying to kind of brush things under the table or tell your children to pray things away, because sometimes they really need to talk to somebody and to have somebody who's been through their experiences like you have, but as an older person, but they might not kind of understand how to express those things. So listen to your kids, listen to your family members, listen to your relatives. So the final 3 topics I'm going to run through about the millennial mental health crisis deal with burnout, money, and feeling lonely. So I'm going to start with burnout and money because they kind of go hand in hand. So this one, it deals with millennials who work, you know, whether that's a 9 to 5, whether that's working retail, odd hours, overnight, whatever it is, mainly 9 to 5. I think that's because it's the most widely group surveyed, but this can pertain to anybody. But a lot of people are burned out from their jobs. A lot of people are in job situations that they don't particularly like, may not have a supportive environment, an environment where they feel like they can grow, may not have a supportive supervisor, boss, something that's holding them down, making them feel like they're really stressed out. But because of money issues, they feel like they have to stay at the job, which turns into like a depressed, stressed, you know, it's just one big ball of burnouts. I did do a video on burnout if you guys haven't seen that one already, and I definitely recommend you checking it out. But burnout is a serious topic. I think that this millennial generation, instead of, you know, just working 9 to 5, clock in, clock out, you know, that kind of thing, working a job that's pointless, meaningless, that you don't really care about. A lot of millennials are finding that, you know, they want more purpose in life. They want to have a job where they feel like it ignites their passion, something that they feel like they're contributing to the world, not something that they're just happen to be good at or just don't really care about. A lot more millennials are doing things that they really care about, and being in a position to being like, you know what, I really need this job right now because I don't have the money, and then not being able to accomplish your dreams because you need money, so you have to stay at this job. It becomes stressful. A lot of millennials these days are struggling with buying homes because of the inflation prices. It's out of control. A lot of millennials are struggling with student loans, student debt. It's difficult right now. And it's even more so difficult because I feel like older generations keep telling us like, oh, when I was your age, I worked here, there, and I bought a house and I have no debt and I went through school and all this stuff. But it's so different now. Things are way more expensive. Interest rates on student loans are crazy. Mine are crazy. I would love to buy a home, but I don't even know when that's gonna happen. You know, it's really difficult for a lot of people right now, and to be told by like your parents or older generation that you're not working hard enough, or you just don't understand, or that you just have to put up with your crappy job is absolutely devastating. So the burnout rates are intense. The monetary rates, not having enough money is very, very intense. So that's a lot of what millennials are dealing with right now, dealing with burnout and money. So for the last one, for loneliness, that one deals with millennials and relationships. So a lot of people are just, not getting married. They're not getting in relationships, or they're getting married in relationships later. So a lot of people feel like, when's it going to happen for me? Am I going through this alone? Is it going to happen for me? So while you're dealing with the stress of everything else, it's another thing as well to feel, I don't want to say not complete, but feel like you're missing something. A piece of you is missing because you're not in a relationship. So a lot of millennials are dealing with that as well too, and that's a really difficult situation. I feel like with this age of social media, it's been really tough on our generation. Because not saying that, cheating or whatever else didn't happen in the past, but now it can be completely put on blast because of social media. So it gives people a jaded outlook on life. It makes them feel like they can't trust anybody. It makes them feel like they just, don't want to deal with relationships because of, they've been hurt before in the past, they've seen somebody hurt, or they just don't want to deal with it. They're too scared of it. So in that sense, they'll go through life feeling lonely. Like I said, with the day of social media, they'll go on social media and look at cute relationship couples, or, things that they wish that they had. And because they don't have it, they feel inadequate. So a lot of those feelings start to come back up, feeling lonely and those sort of things. So it's a lot of things that millennials are dealing with right now. And I feel like I don't want to say on our own, but there's not a lot of allies out there for us. And when it comes to our mental health and the things that we deal with, sometimes older generations don't really understand it, or don't really even believe us. So, I really wanted to get this out and tell you guys about what a lot of millennials are going through, and kind of explain it to you guys, and then kind of think about ways to work through it with yourself, with others, and kind of how to explain what you may be going through to somebody else who you trust, that you can really confide in. Like I mentioned earlier, there is like online counseling if you don't want to go see somebody, like BetterHelp, Talkspace, Lyra, and some of those are for like $30 a session. I know that some people still can't afford those. There's a lot of mental health agencies out there that go off a sliding scale fee to where it's income based. So sometimes you might not have to pay anything at all. Sometimes you might have to pay just a little bit of money, but something, whatever you can afford. So there are accessible resources out there. It's just difficult to find, but I encourage you to seriously look. Of course, there's the suicide helpline, the suicide talk line. There is support groups. I know that a lot of our generation likes to do things online. There's a whole bunch on Facebook, of course. You can look up different support groups, or even like groups in public, like in your city. There's a lot of free like group counseling. There's a lot of different resources for counseling. Like I said, that a lot of people don't know about. A lot of people think that counseling is like $100, $200 a session. And while some of them are, if you don't have insurance, it's difficult, but there are different mental health resources to where you can find an outlet for yourself. Talk to your friends if you feel like you don't have a good support system in them. Talk to family members. If you have coworkers, somebody who you can trust. I just would suggest to not keep this all bottled up, because then it can, cause tension, a lot of depression, stress. It can come out in your body, and that's when it gets really, really bad. So I would say to not bottle it up. Find your support system, find your group, find hobbies, find things that you enjoy, kind of really figure out who you are so that you can manage dealing with all these things. Make a game plan. If something is like monetary related, try and budget things out as best as you can, work through it. You can work with somebody who is pretty financially savvy. I feel like we know like at least one person that is, and they can help you through it if you feel comfortable doing that. If you're experiencing burnout at your job, find an EAP system so you can do counseling through there. You can usually do like 5 free sessions, or talk to a coworker who you feel like you can be supported by. I really feel like a support system is really going to be like the basis of all this, because a lot of people feel like they have to go through it alone. A lot of millennials especially, like, I have to work this hard, I have to do all this. People encourage like, don't sleep, sleeping's for the weak, all that stuff, and you're just burning yourself out, feeling like you have to get ahead when we're really just kind of starting off in life. But I feel like a support system is the way to get through a lot of these things, especially for, I didn't mention earlier, but like the LGBTQ community. Oh my goodness, a support system is going to be so important for you guys, whether that's through therapy, whether that's through a friend, an ally, somebody who's going to be on your side. Because the amount of oppression that you experience dealing with all the things that I just mentioned, plus that, has been extremely difficult. So a support system is going to be extremely important through all these things. Like I said, find hobbies, find things that you enjoy. Self-care is going to be really important. And sticking together, like I said, that's going to be really important. We're all going through something on our own lives. We're all on our own journey, our own paths. So be supportive of those, be kind to other people, and really understand that, everyone's got something going on. You're not the only one. You're not alone, especially. So reach out, take the time to take care of you, and do what you have to do to, work on your mental health and make sure that you have a more optimistic outlook on your own mental health for your future. Because like I said earlier, we want you around for a long time, and it's important to take care of yourself. So if you have any experiences with mental health that you want to discuss, you can leave them in the comments down below. You can message me. The best way to message me is on Instagram. If you don't have Instagram, I do have email, and I'll leave it down below. Or if you know anybody who's going through mental health right now who is a millennial, you can share this video with them, or somebody who may not understand and you kind of want them to, kind of get a whole little basic synopsis of mental health crisis going on with millennials right now. You can of course share this video with them. If you have any hobbies for self-care or things that you've done to get out of your depression, anxiety, stress, those kind of things, of course share those with everyone down below as well, because I would love to hear what you guys have to say. I always enjoy hearing what you have to say. It helps me to continue to grow as well as a person and as a therapist. So I appreciate all of you. So don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, and as always, I hope that you guys feel beautiful inside and out today, because you are. Thank you again for watching.